One of the habits I started last year was daily walks. And as much as possible, I try and do them outside, although this time of year, the days are shorter, so it's trickier to get outside. When I started my goal, the goal was just a walk. I didn't even have a goal for how long it lasted. It literally could have been 5 minutes. So that was my goal for the first month. And then somewhere around 1 month or 2 months in, I set a goal of 6,000 steps a day. Didn't meant that I achieved it every day, but that was my goal for about, honestly, the next 9 months, maybe even 10. Just this last month, I set the goal 10,000 steps a day because I had had enough frequency of always hitting my 6,000 steps a day goal, and then occasionally even more starting to trend to the 8,000 steps a day goal. I'm getting ready to start next week running a group that you're invited to join, which is Sweet Success Habits. I have studied, experimented, and applied so many methods over the past few years to make habits stick. And not to brag, but I have a lot of desirable habits that are in my life. I read almost every single day. I read over 100 books a year. I walk every single day. I express gratitude to my family every day. I meditate every day. I posted online every day for the last year. I show up for my business every day. I write my email list every week. Check, check, check. And I'm saying this to you because these things were not done in a day or all at once. I picked one major goal that was going to have a big impact that I knew would lead to success and compound the effect, have a snowball or domino kind of effect, and that's what I worked on. Now in Sweet Success Habits, this is an 8-week program where you'll get a private psychic session and coaching from me. You'll also weekly get on a call where we're going to troubleshoot, because when you're setting up a new habit, very often something happens that throws you off, and I want you to stick with it. But sticking with it sometimes means adjusting, modifying, and figuring out what works for you. This year, when I started the walk a little bit every day, no matter how much, I started it because I had the old goal of 15 minutes a day, and at various points in my life, that just did not happen. I had a kid who had chronic sleep issues for the first 3.5 years of his life. Actually, he still has issues, but he's medicated, so that helps. So my sleep was out of whack for over 3 years. This meant that my fitness for a number of years took the back seat. And last year I thought, I need to have fitness to run around with my kids, to have good health, which is a value of mine. And so I started in a manageable way and built upon that. I didn't expect that in 1 month I would be ready for a 5K or a marathon. Even right now, I have no interest for a marathon. However, I love that I walk every day. I love that it's a habit that's such a core part of my life, and that other people know this about me too. It's something that after a certain point of time, your habit will become your identity, and it will help you, again, compound, snowball into success. That's why this group is called Sweet Success Habits. It's also about the sweetness, because most people are not going to keep on working on something that's hard-nosed discipline over and over and over again. I want you to do this for the long haul, and therefore you need to find where there's the juiciness, the sweetness, the pleasure in it. And some of the things you may want to do, you might be thinking, oh, there's no pleasure in this, Rachel. That's why I'm here to help you, why I'm here to coach you. As a psychic, I can help you either figure out what's the block to why you've tried this habit before and it's not working, or if it's not that there's a block, we can figure out maybe there's another keystone habit that you need to implement before the one that is your goal, so that it makes making your goal that much easier. One of my goals for the new year is to start going to a Toastmasters group that meets early in the morning. But one of the reasons I haven't gone is I'm still, even though I'm getting better sleep, I don't get up early anymore. My goal is to really improve my sleep hygiene, go to bed at a reasonable hour to get good sleep, and to wake up early. Originally, I tried for 2 or 3 months to have my goal of going to Toastmasters. It was on my calendar and I never went. And then I realized, okay, That's the wrong goal to start with. I need to already be in a habit of waking up early. Then it's going to be so much easier to say, okay, great. Now I'm going to put on a nice outfit, put on some eyeshadow and mascara, eat a good breakfast, run out the door. Because I got to get out the door. I need like a 45-minute for driving, parking, all that good stuff, and helping the kids get up a little bit in the morning for school. I don't want to be going to Toastmasters, building and continuing to refine my skill of speaking when I'm half asleep and not in a good space. Therefore, the sleep habit comes first. Once that is in a really good place, it will be easier to show up to the Toastmasters, fresh, alert, ready to go. Similarly for you, there's probably something like this that either subconsciously or consciously we can modify, we can adjust, we can tweak to make achieving this doable for you. Because that's what I want. If you identify the habit by which it makes your success inevitable, then you don't have to wonder, is such and such going to happen? You know that you're putting in the time, you're putting in the hours. And if you're familiar with the 10,000 hours with Malcolm Gladwell, ideas like that, it's like over the course of a year or 2 years, if you have this habit, you will have the success that comes along with it. However, you first need to have the habit. My husband is an amazing piano player, and he took lessons for 14 years. So for him to pick out a tune and read music, hear something and start playing it is not a big deal because he has the skills, he has the muscle memory built in. It's second nature to him. And that came from building the skill, building the habit over a long period of time. This group, Sweet Success Habits, runs for 8 weeks because I don't believe, and most of us have seen, 21 days does not make a habit. In years past, I tried to have a fitness habit and I kept it up 21 days. But the first time I get sick, that habit stopped and I never picked it up again till like 6 months later. This year, even though I've gotten sick several times, the habit stuck. It always came back as soon as I was well. And even on the days I wasn't tip top, if I could walk, I would. If I could park further away from the door at the grocery store, park further away in the parking lot, I would. Because every little extra bit walking got me back on track. That is the result of when you've had a habit long enough that it becomes ingrained, it becomes a part of your identity. However, and this is where the psychic work comes in, the coaching, the intuitive support, many of us have something unconscious blocking, standing in the way, that's literally like the programming within our brains. So your brain programming is working against you. And until that changes, which takes time, you're always going to be fighting against yourself. However, once it has changed, it's part of your identity. It works with you and for you. That is what I want for your habits to be working with you, be working for you over time, over the days, months, and years, so that success is sweet and inevitable. Check out the group. Message me with any questions.